Patchwork Posse. Today I thought I would just show you real quick how to roll over the edges of a quilt to bind it. So a lot of times it's just a lot easier to do it. It's not, it doesn't last as long, but it is a quick fix, and I do it all the time with all of my projects, so I'm not really too worried about it. For show quilts and stuff, you do want to have a regular binding, but for any projects that are big or small that that you just need done, rolling the back to the front for a quick bind, it can be just what you need. So let's get started. All right, now that we've got our project quilted, then you are ready to trim the batting and trim the backing so we can prep it for the rolling over for the binding. So first of all, we're going to trim the batting, and so you're going to want to separate these two pieces, the backing and the batting, because you don't want to trim the backing. The only thing you're going to be trimming is the batting itself. You're going to make sure that when you trim the batting, you are not going to be trimming the backing at the same time. You have to be super careful because of your quilting, stitches might go right up to the edge. That will pull your backing right up to it, and you might snip it. So these scissors I'm using are kind of flat on the bottom. They're angled, and so I can run along without poking a hole or snagging the fabric underneath. And then I'm just going to trim right along the front edge. Now my stitches here are a little close, so again, you just need to be careful that you're only cutting the batting and not the backing. If you need to peel it away, that's why this kind of scissors works pretty well, because you're not going to pick up that, you're not going to pick up the back with these because of the blunt point, the blunt tip. So you're just going to continue going around your project. Now, if you are trimming and it's not you've got a little bit of extra, you can go back and trim that again if you'd like, or you can just leave it. It does leave a little bit of bulk in your back or in your binding, but really in the end it's not too terrible or that big of a deal. So all right, so that is all finished and trimmed. Now what we need to do is trim this extra piece. This might have seen some adjustments and some shifting when you were quilting, and so that's why it is cut a little bit larger than needed. So we're going to take our ruler, and typically I like to cut it 3/4 to 1 inch past past the front. So this time around I'm going to do 3/4 inch. So it really just depends on how wide you like your binding to go. You're going to be doing a double fold on this, so you know, if you do 1 inch, you're going to fold it over 1/2 inch and fold it over another 1/2 inch. So it's going to be a wider bind. So I typically cut it to 3/4, but you can kind of play around with it and see what you like. So I'm just going to run the 3/4 inch line right up against the quilt's top, and then trim the back. All right, so now we're going to take it to the machine and start the process for the binding. Okay, so now that we are ready to get started, what we're going to do is a double fold hem. And that just means that we're going to take the back and roll it to the front, or fold it to the front. So what we're going to do is take this raw edge right along the top here, that's the backing. We're going to fold it once and line it up directly with the quilt top itself, right along that edge. And we can move it around a little bit. If you need to take it to an iron and press it, go right ahead and do that. And then what we're going to do is fold it a second time. And the second time allows that backing to come right on top of the quilt top. And then we're going to take it and sew it down. You're going to sew, make sure your stitch is right along that edge. And you're going to make any readjustments that you need as you are stitching along. Make sure your needle is always in the down position before you start fiddling with this, or it might just get out of control. Okay, so what do we do when we get to the corner here? What we're going to do is we're going to continue our fold all the way to the end, and then we're going to take our corner and go up and meet it directly with the line of the quilt's top itself. Then we're going to fold it once, just like we did before, and line up the raw edge with the edge of the quilt top. And then we're going to fold it a second time. This actually makes a perfect miter corner on the front of your quilt. And then we're just going to continue stitching. When you get to that corner, you want to make one stitch with your needle down, holding that binding down, and then take a couple stitches to secure it, and then continue on. You might need to stop, make some readjustments, refold it, line it back up again, and then off you go. All right, what are you going to do when you get to this original corner? This first corner, you're going to do the same thing, except you're going to pull it from the opposite. So you're going to pull that finished corner up to that edge, make your first fold, and then you're going to fold this under. Got a string here so it looks wrong, but it's not. Make sure everything gets tucked under and that corner gets mitered. Okay, lots of strings here. All right, there we go. And then you're going to want to play with that just a little bit before you start going and finish it off. And then of course do a couple stay stitches before you release it so it secures the stitch at the end. Cut it off and you're done. Now look at what happens when your needle jumps off the hem. Do you know what? Or jumps off the binding. I just go back over it. I'm not too worried about it. You're really following the same line as before. So just finish it off and you're done. So that's how you do a binding from the back to the front.